Sorry for the delay in this program. Good morning and welcome you all to Rotary International Motorcyclist Fellowship session. This is one of the parallel sessions we are organizing parallelly with the PS meet that we're having right now. I hope this session will be informative and it will also be an encouragement for all of us to start our local fellowship groups in order to have a bit more information about how RI is conducting its fellowship groups and how Rotarians all around the world are benefiting from that. So starting the session, I would like to give a short introduction of our speaker for today. So the speaker for today is Rotarian Sunil Telkar. He is the past president of Rotary Club of Bangalore, Kalyan, Rotary International District 3190. He has also served as the Assistant Governor in RI District 3190, and he is the International Secretary of International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians, and which is a group of Rotarians who share a common interest of motorcycling. This fellowship group is spread worldwide in 25 chapters and currently has almost 2,600 members. So without further ado, I'd like to give this floor to our speaker for today, Rotarian Sunil Telkar. Thank you.
Thank you, Kritika, for this short and lovely introduction. And it's always a pleasure to interact with the young crowd, especially the Rotaractors. And what more can you ask when the topic is something close to you, which is fellowship and motorcycling? So I'll share the screen. I have prepared a small presentation for this session. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Wonderful. So before I get into IFMR or the International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians, I want to talk a little bit about the fellowships in Rotary and why we actually talk about fellowships and why the fellowships has gained so much of prominence and importance lately. Now, what the fellowships in Rotary actually is, it's a group of people who share common passion. Now, who are these people? They are Rotarians, they are Rotaractors, they are ANTs, they are ANETs. And based on the latest development from the Rotary International, which actually is a resolution which has been passed in the board meeting last year, now the fellowship groups is actually open for any individual who is interested to join. Now, isn't that wonderful? We have 90 plus fellowship groups. Name any particular hobby, you will almost find a fellowship group which is there for that particular hobby, and that's there worldwide. Like I said, it's worldwide, so we have these fellowship groups present in most of the other countries. It enhances the bonding between the Rotarians. Why, how, I'll explain to you in a little further part of the presentation. And what happens when you connect with people across the world, when you get to know them better? Of course, it translates into better bonding, better friendships, and better friendships always lead to more meaningful projects. And Rotary actually sees this particular avenue as one of the lucrative avenues to get new members, because like you see over there on the top, now the fellowship groups are open for any individual. So you need not necessarily be a Rotarian or associated with Rotary to join a fellowship group. But of course, that comes with a rider that the leader of a particular Rotary fellowship group has to be either a Rotarian or a Rotaractor or a Peace Fellow. Now, just coming to some interesting part of the IFMR history. IFMR stands for the International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians. Now, the two gentlemen, what you see over here in the picture, are basically David and Tony. These people are actually from the Rotary Club of Loxton in Australia. Way back in 1991, 1992, there was a set of motorcycling Rotarians who actually wanted to start a fellowship for the motorcycling. Now, interestingly, there were a couple of other Rotary clubs in the US as well as the Northern Europe who wanted to initiate something similar. And back those days, we had around 80 plus members who were willing to join the group. And unfortunately, the requirement was you need to have a constitution, you need to have a logo, you need to have sponsorship of at least 3 DGs, that is 3 district governors. Now, the strange part and the critical part on that is the 2 district governors or the 2 districts who are supporting the sponsoring of any new fellowship group, they have to be outside of the district which is actually sponsoring this fellowship group. Now, that was a big challenge because we had a district governor from Australia who was willing to start this group, but we needed other 2 district governors outside of Australia to actually support. Now, of course, these people actually thought that let's go across the world, send emails and send letters and faxes to the cities and the Rotary clubs which are there in the cities which manufacture motorcycles. They in fact sent something to US. They sent many of the letters and faxes to Japan. DG Frederick from Milwaukee actually supported this cause. So thankfully, he became the second district governor who supported this sponsorship. There were no responses from any other district governors. The city of Honda Motorcycles, unfortunately, Tokyo, the district governor in that particular region actually did not support. And finally, it was Hong Kong who agreed to be the third district who supported the sponsoring of this IFMR. And yes, 13 January 1992, quite some time back, we started this wonderful group of International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians. Now, talking about IFMR a little more. Yes, chartered in 1992, we have presence in more than 50 countries. Now, friends, when you see Rotary, we have close to 2 million Rotarians across 200 countries. Isn't that wonderful? You have a family of 2 million people across the world. You can connect with any Rotarian across the world without any boundaries. You can walk into any Rotary club and just attend their meeting without being asked why. Isn't that wonderful? Similar way, we are connecting people a little more closely to through the fellowship groups. Presence in 50 countries, 27 chapters worldwide. I'm happy during my tenure of last 2 years as the International Secretary, I have started 6 new chapters, Japan being the latest addition. We have 2,700 plus bikers riding across the world. Of course, governed by bylaws in line with the Rotary International recommendations. Now, if I may say, this is the kingdom of IFMR. I'll be more than happy to present this. The green ones basically are the ones which had started 2 years back. They have been existing for 10 years, 20 years now. And the orange ones are the ones which we have started in the last 2 years. And yes, the white ones, unfortunately, are the ones where we still don't have a footprint. And this is something where we want to start the chapters in near future. Talking about IFMR India. Now, I want to talk about IFMR India because I want to let you know how the fellowship groups actually promotes bonding, how you can benefit from Rotary fellowship groups in terms of networking, and what are the other benefits which you can get out of the Rotary fellowship groups. So I'll take the IFMR India chapter as one of the examples to showcase how you could do all these things. IFMR India chapter, it was established in 2003. We currently have 6 subchapters. Now, when I say 6 subchapters, it means there are subchapters for every Rotary International District. That means in India, we have IFMR in 6 Rotary International Districts, 200 plus bikers, and yes, we are major donor level 3. That means we have donated more than 50,000 US dollars to the Rotary International Foundation. Isn't that great? Yes, we do some philanthropic activities as well. We raise funds for the Rotary Foundation. Now, what do we do in IFMR? One-day rides every month. First Sunday of every month, we just head out for a ride of 15, 20, 30 members, depending on which chapter you are. People join together. We go for breakfast ride. We go to visit some monument. We go to just have a nice time together. We also do overnight rides. Now, basically, it does not mean we ride overnight. It is basically an overnight stay. So generally, over the weekends, Saturday early mornings, we leave to a very nice destination. We stay there, and then we have some wonderful campfire, dinner, fellowship, and then we return the next day. This is something which most of the chapters do once in 3 months. One long ride, which is 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers every year. This is a new trend which has started a couple of years back in the IFMR India chapter. Many of the other international chapters have been doing that. So what do we do in these kind of rides? Basically, we ride for a cause. Now, what kind of cause and how it can benefit you, how it can benefit Rotary is something I'll talk after some time. We also take families together. We have family nights, which are specifically, where the members of IFMR join together with the spouses and the families. And of course, we have an AGM for member. The leadership team currently is, this wonderful fellowship group is headed by the past district governor, Dr. Dirk from Germany. And of course, this is yours truly. I'm the current international secretary for the term 2019-2023 from Rotary Club of Bangalore, Kalyan, India. Now, what are the benefits of joining Rotary Fellowship groups? If you see Rotary or Rotaract, we have a very limited interaction between the members, isn't it? If you see the Rotary clubs, these members meet each other weekly basis only amongst the clubs. Sometimes, yes, we have multiple clubs joint meetings, which are occasional depending on which location you are in. Sometimes it is monthly, sometimes it is bi-monthly, sometimes it is quarterly. We have something called the Intercity General Forum, ICGF, which provides you a platform to interact with people from other clubs in the same district, which happens monthly or bi-monthly depending on which district you are in. Of course, we have the inter-district interactions, which are quite rare because we don't have a formal structure for actually doing that. International once in a year, because that's the only place, Rotary International Convention is the only place where we get to meet the Rotarians and Rotaractors from across the world. So it's only once in a year. Now, what do we do through IFMR? Day rides, like I mentioned, monthly. Of course, when you talk about the IFMR India chapter, you have people from different clubs, different districts. We have overnight rides wherein multiple districts participate together. So it is once in a quarter. Long rides, half yearly or yearly, is what we do cross country. We ride across various districts, sometimes 5 districts, sometimes even 14 districts. So I'll explain to you in some of the rides what we have done, how we have interacted with people, and how it has benefited us. And international rides we do once in a year. There are a lot of countries which actually do cross-country rides, so or multi-country rides. So Australia has been doing that for quite a long time. India, we are planning something in near future. We are planning for a ride in Sri Lanka. Of course, Nepal and Bhutan is a wonderful territory which would want to cover sometime next year or the next year. Sorry. So the benefits of fellowship group, or even IFMR, if I could say, it's a wonderful place to connect or network. You get to meet new people, you get to make new friends. Someone has said your network is your net worth, isn't it? And here is a place, here's a platform through which you can get to know people much more better. Of course, a formal Rotary event provides you a lot of opportunities to meet new people, but this is more casual meet. When you meet people through Rotary fellowship groups, the bonding is at a different level altogether. Of course, when you join the Rotary fellowship groups, you know, you know at least 2 million Rotarians across the world, but if you are a part of fellowship group and you have fellow fellowship group member in a particular country, the bonding what you share with that particular person is at a different level altogether. The support what you get when you're visiting that particular country is at a different level altogether. And Rotary Fellowship Group is strictly about fellowship. There's no politics, there's no Rotary what we talk over there. It's purely bonding and fellowship, fun and friendship is what we do over there in a fellowship group. Like I said, promoting bonding between the members. Like I said, in Rotary weekly meetings, the bonding happens to a decent extent, but when you're meeting for fellowship, the bonding happens at a different level altogether. You get to know the person much better. And better bonding leads to collaboration on meaningful large projects. Now, what are these large projects? How the large projects generally happen and how the benefit actually comes out is basically, something which I want to illustrate with 2 examples. One is of the Rotary Literacy Ride 2020 and the Combat COVID Ride 2020. Now, the Rotary Literacy Ride was an initiative of Rotary International District 3190 and IFMR. The objective basically was to support the Rotary India Literacy Mission and promote a crowdfunding campaign of approximately 1.2 crores. So this was basically to support 3,000 Asha Kirans, which basically are the destitute children who are out of school. So the program or the particular ride was to support in raising the funds of approximately 1.2 crores, which would have taken 3,000 destitute children to the school. So that was the Asha Kiran project all about. I'll skip this slide for now. We had 12 bikers, we had 4,600 kilometers to be covered, 19 days, taking 16 stops, crossing 11 states or union territories in India. and 14 RI districts. Now, the route was Kanyakumari, Karur, Pondicherry, Chennai, Bangalore, Kurnool, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Nagpur, Jabalpur, Jhansi, Lucknow, Varanasi, Gaya, Durgapur, and finally ending at Kolkata. Now, why I'm showing this particular chart to you is because when I said 16 stops, we stopped in 16 different places across 14 RI districts, and every place we had a mega multi-club joint meeting wherein we spoke about this project. Now, when we were speaking about this project, we promoted the project at the same time, we created friends over there. Now, if you see the people who rode together have very good network now across this line, what you see on the Indian map. Does this opportunity come in just being a part of Rotary Club and interacting only with your club members? No. This is something which is possible only through fellowship groups. Now, we used to start at 6 a.m. in the morning, ride around 300 kilometers per day, flag in to the destination by 1 to 4 p.m. We used to have press conferences every day at 5 p.m. and public event, which is either a large-scale gathering of public or multi-club Rotary joint meetings. And the flag off the next day. This is what we generally do on the long rides. What we did, we raised close to 62,000 US dollars just with the ride. The crowdfunding campaign separately did not happen, but just the ride, which was not targeted towards raising of any funds, we did raise funds and took at least 1,800 destitute children to school. Now, isn't this wonderful? The cities what we covered, a lot of cities had importance in terms of Indian heritage. Those were some places which we have not been probably in last 10, 15, 20 years. So while we were riding, while we were fostering our passion, while we were having fun on the bikes and enjoying the friendship of 16 or 12 bikers, and then the hospitality of the wonderful Rotarians whom we met across India, we also did a wonderful support to a wonderful cause, which was taking 1,800 destitute children to the school. This is what the Rotary Fellowships also can do. A similar project, these were the press coverages in various local and national newspapers. A similar project was the Combat COVID Ride, which was again an initiative of RI District 3190 and IFMR. Basically, we wanted to facilitate the administrating of 1 lakh to 1,50,000 doses of COVID vaccine, raise 1 crore, and enhance solidarity in our fight against the COVID across the nation. Of course, the beneficiaries were people who could not have afforded the vaccine. Later, the government actually made the vaccines free of cost. So we used all the money to support the logistics of the vaccine. Now, even here we had 20 bikers, 4,100 kilometers over 18 days, 12 stops, 7 states, 13 cities. This was again a different terrain what we covered. While we rode for the cause, we again created friends across India, across different RI districts, which again is possible only to the fellowship groups. So, in summary, the fellowship groups provides you one of the best platforms, one, to foster your passion, to network with like-minded people, because here you have people who share the common passion what you do. Right, in IFMR, we have people who share the common passion of motorcycling. So you have the like-minded people actually together in one single place. Better family involvement in Rotary. Of course, all of us or most of us generally ride with our spouses. They also like to come along with us, enjoy the fellowship, enjoy the friendship in Rotary. And that way, even the family get very closer to the Rotary circle. Born to do better projects. I already showed you a couple of projects, a couple of mega projects where we have raised wonderful, large funds for the Rotary International or the Rotary Foundation. A lucrative channel to bring people into Rotary. Like I said, the fellowship groups are now open to any individual. So any individual sharing a common passion of what you do and what this particular Rotary fellowship group is all about can join you and then see, what Rotary does from outside, feel connected to Rotary and then join Rotary. I know multiple people who have joined the motorcycling group just for the, or who have joined Rotary just for the sake of motorcycling with us. And then finally they have seen the beauty of Rotary and finally ended up becoming staunch Rotarian, which we never expected them to be at the beginning. So I would take a pause over here. If you have any questions to be asked, I'll be more than happy to actually respond to that and then help you out with some clarifications.
Yes, sir. I think I'll start with my query that I have.
Sure.
So you talked about you're supporting the Rotary India literacy mission through your motorcycling. Um, so I was just wondering that how does the funding part work? Do the participants who participate in the rides contribute to that, or how do you spread the information that you're raising funds through that, and how do you collect it?
See here, the Rotary India Literacy Mission, this project was a little different project. So what we did was we popularized the Asha Kiran project. And the Asha Kiran project is something which is quite popular in India. People know about this project. And what happens is when there is a motivation for you to contribute money towards a project, you generally go ahead. So this motivation was provided as a form of the ride. So people were very happy that 12 riders are riding across India to support this program. And that's why whenever we reached, so what we used to do was we connected with all the districts quite beforehand. Just one second. Yeah, we connected with all the 14 districts quite beforehand. And then basically we told them that on so and so day we'll be reaching your territory and we would want to have a multi-club joint meeting on that particular day. We had district organizing such events wherein we had 100 to 500 members who had gathered in that particular event where we spoke about this project. And they were so happy about it that during the same event we in fact collected up to 10 lakhs in one particular event. And that was transferred directly to the Rotary India Literacy Mission's account. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir, it does. So since I'd also like to add some information. So in Nepal, we are also conducting the Rotary Nepal Literacy Mission. So we are the Rotary District 3292 plans to have raise the literacy percent by some so they have some time dedicated. I think it was 2020 for the last back, I think 2 years back, and then they extended it till 2030. So does the riding have some impact? Because I think like you shared, 12 riders riding across India, I think the media coverage also helped that. But how did you initiate it? I think rather than just planning of going through India, did you have some support beforehand, or I wanted to know about how did you initiate it?
See, actually, it all started with some 4 or 5 of us planning to ride across India. And there was no theme in the beginning. And during the course of discussions, when we discussed the territories, how do we travel, when do we travel, and how long the distance is supposed to be, and how many durations, how many days, do we actually give for this particular ride? Then we were wondering that every time we do the ride for fellowship, we do ride for fun. Why don't we ride for a cause this time? And that's when we started looking for what could be the cause to actually ride for. The first cause what we planned was the rally for peace. In fact, there was a lot of tension between India and Pakistan. So we thought, why don't we diffuse that by riding for peace? So we planned that there'll be a set of Rotarians who will be riding from the southernmost part of India to the Atari border, and there'll be some group of Rotarians who will be actually riding from within Pakistan and reach the Wagah border, and there we will actually do the flag exchange. But unfortunately, we had some untowardly incidents due course. and we had to shelve that particular project. And then we saw that literacy was something which actually was close to all of us, and we decided, why don't we do something on literacy? And that's when we thought there's a wonderful project like Asha Kiran, and I'm sure, I mean, there'll be similar projects in Nepal as well. I mean, like you just mentioned. And Rotary India Literacy Mission was supporting that. So we reached out to the director, the Rotary, sorry, the RI director who actually was guiding the Rotary India Literacy Mission as well, and then took their support. And basically from there, this entire ride became, I mean, it shifted from the Rotary, so Rally for Peace to the Rotary India Literacy Mission. And when we have to plan such kind of rides, a lot of efforts actually go in, because if an email is sent by a Rotary International Director to all the district governors or all the clubs, generally it doesn't work. So you need to plan the territory, you need to sit with your district governor, make calls to all the district governors who actually, I mean, fall in the, or through whose district we are passing. And then they generally nominate an assistant governor and a lead club in their district who will be coordinating with us. And then we discuss with them the logistics part. So generally, I mean, such long rides, it takes close to 2 to 3 months of effort to plan such kind of activity. And see the difference where basically the ride can add value to such kind of crowdfunding is, like I said, people have money, right? Sometimes people have money, but they want to donate as well, but the motivation is not good enough. So what we do, I mean, by riding, or what we did while riding, is to add in that motivation that, hey, you know what, 12 riders are leaving their businesses and their jobs for 18 to 19 days, and they're riding for a cause. We are all going to publicize this particular project, which takes the destitute children to the school. We are doing this from our side. Why don't you do your bit? So that little bit of motivation gap which is there between, putting the hand in your pocket and taking out the money, that is what we did during the ride. And during the ride itself, we got commitment for almost 15 lakh Indian rupees. And then when we came back and we talked about the riding stories, and basically, if I have to talk about that ride itself, because I was the chairman for that ride, there were so many wonderful incidents which happened over 19 days. So that will take at least 2-3 hours to talk about. So all those stories, when we came back and we were presenting in various clubs, those people got so excited and motivated that, yes, I mean, our Rotarians have gone across India and spread the message for literacy. What are we doing? Why don't we, I mean, support them? We don't have the time, and, we don't have the time and then the energy to, I mean, go across India riding. But at least, I mean, whoever can give or donate money, why don't we do it? And that's where the 33 lakhs came in later. So it's just a matter of motivation.
Thank you so much, sir. I think it cleared my query. If any of the participants have any questions you want to clarify, or if you have any queries about anything, the floor is open. You can unmute yourself and ask our speaker for today. Okay, I think nobody has any questions. So I also wanted to ask that we talked about having a motorcyclist fellowship group in India, and how you tried to cover India as a whole through this fellowship group. So can you share more about how the fellowship groups are working in other parts of the world, outside Asia, or outside India?
Well, when I was talking about India, I was just trying to give you a picture of how a chapter actually works. And this is something similar, which actually, I mean, happens across the world. We have a very active chapter in Australia. We have a chapter in North America and South America. And of course, there, the kind of distance what we have covered, I mean, you will obviously, I mean, cross multiple countries when you're traveling there. So they call it as an inter-country ride. Here we call it as intra-country ride. So distances are almost similar. So most of the places, the rides are quite frequent. The members of the IFMR, which is the International Fellowship of Motorcycling Rotarians, at various chapters, they meet almost, I mean, every month or bi-weekly. So every fortnight. So 15 days or 1 month, they keep meeting and they keep going for rides. In India, it is monthly. In some of the other countries, it is fortnightly, and some countries they meet bi-monthly. So they have the flexibility of choosing, the frequency of meeting and riding together. But yes, the rides happen quite regularly. And once in a year, we also have something called the presidential ride. Unfortunately, because of the COVID pandemic, we haven't had this particular opportunity for last 2 years. But generally, what we do is we cover at least 4 5 countries and then ride approximately 8 to 10,000 kilometers in such kind of rides. We are planning to have this ride sometime next year, but we'll have to see whether COVID permits us to do that.
Okay. That's such a wonderful thing to know. So I also wanted to ask that since the fellowship group is spread worldwide, uh, has there been any incident that motorcyclist fellowship group members from all around the world have rode their bikes and been to a Rotary International convention or something like that? Any
Yes, it's a
international
very good
event?
point what you mentioned, and this happens almost every year. And unfortunately, because of COVID pandemic, the conventions have been virtual for last 2 years.
Yeah.
And in the Houston convention, there is a similar kind of plan, and the IFMR North America chapter has taken a lead to arrange such kind of ride. Of course, here the ride is not starting from different countries, but different parts of America, and then the members, the IFMR members from different parts of the world are supposed to be choosing, 2 or 3 start points, and then ride towards the destination. So that is something what we have been planning in past also, and in Houston Convention, the same thing is going to happen.
Okay. Uh, That's such a wonderful thing to hear because we also have a local fellowship group which we are just starting. I think the group was formed a long back, but then we're trying to make the fellowship groups active from this year. So we also have a motorcyclist group in Rotaractors District 3292 where we have
I'll be
added
more than
rider.
happy to help you start an IFMR Nepal chapter if
Yeah.
you guys want to start.
Yeah, so yeah, we are trying to promote it so that the whole idea of having this session was to share more about how the Rotary International Fellowship works and how these groups can in any regional what do you call in regional level how these fellowship groups are being held and how these groups work in international groups. So uh, have you engaged Rotaractors before? Have you engaged any Rotaractors in these groups before? Have they initiated
Yes,
any
in
thing?
India, we have multiple Rotaractors as a part of the IFMR group. And believe me, there we don't differentiate between the Rotarians and the Rotaractors. They are all together as a IFMR member, and all of them ride together. So we have Rotaractors as a part of the fellowship group across the world.
Okay. So I think we'll be more happy to extend our fellowship group of motorcyclists or riders to an international fellowship group so that we can also join together in the international rides.
Certainly,
So
certainly.
yeah, yeah. So we also had some discussion with our DRCC from this year. So he had plans. Because since Rotrack District 3292 is Nepal and Bhutan, we don't have any Rotrack clubs in Bhutan. So we were wondering if we could do a tri-nation ride or something like that, so that we can travel from Nepal through India
To
to
be really
Bhutan.
frank, the last part of my
Yeah,
presentation, which I haven't shared, actually was about that.
yeah,
So basically, I was thinking, why not, have a tri-nation kind of ride,
yeah.
India, Nepal, Bhutan. So this is something which we can obviously plan. Probably, we can connect separately and take this particular initiative further.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We would be more than happy to extend
And I'll
this
be
with.
happy if the Rotaractors in Nepal, along with some Rotarian support, if you're able to create a IFMR chapter, so we can officially have a IFMR inaugural during that time.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So we just had this concept in the beginning of this year. So we are trying to make it a bit bigger and make it official so that we can have riders from Rotaractors as well. So since most of the Rotarians are not so much into riding, but Rotaractors are, so we were wondering if we could expand this. So yeah, I think we
Certainly,
would be
certainly.
more happy to have this group
A
starting in
Rotaract
Nepal
group
as well.
can always go ahead and create a fellowship group, or if it is not there, you can create a new fellowship group by itself, or if the fellowship group is already recognized by Rotary International and it's not there in your area or your region, you can always open a regional chapter. The Rotaractors have the authority to do that. And like I said, now the Rotary Fellowship groups are open to any individual. The only rider which is there is the lead has to be either a a Rotarian or a Rotaractor or a Peace Fellow. So it means a Rotaract group also can form your own fellowship group and also can lead it.
Okay. Oh, that's such a nice thing to know. So I think we'll have more discussions later on about this too.
Certainly. So there's one more thought, I mean, which I want to leave you guys with. Now, you would have seen that IFMR India chapter, especially, is a major donor level 3. That is, they have donated 50,000 US dollars. Now, many of you might be thinking where this particular $50,000 actually came from. Did the Rotarians, I mean, give from their own pockets, or I mean, they collected from some particular project? That is some information which I wanted to share during the question answer session. Now, the IFMR India chapter has been regularly promoting a ride called Himalayan Ride. It is HIMALEHYAN. So we generally even plan the Leh Ladakh trip and the back and back. And these trips were open for the foreign riders. So what we used to do was we used to arrange this particular ride and then invite the Rotarians from the foreign countries to come and ride. So the benefit what they used to get was, first, the Rotarians are involved in coordination, so they had some level of trust. So it is treating you more equal than any other tour maker or tour planner, right? So if it is through Rotary, then they do believe that yes, I mean this is a genuine kind of trip. So that is one part. The second thing, you can charge the international rates. And what we used to do was the proceeds or the profit what we got from these trips, we used to shift it to the Rotary International Foundation account. So the riders, I mean, who were coming on the trip were more than happy because they knew that whatever they are spending, even if they spend maybe $100,000 extra, they knew that that money is going to the Rotary Foundation. So one is that the trust factor is built. Second is the riders are more than happy because while they are riding for fun and fellowship, they also know the money is going to the Rotary Foundation. So that's where I mean these kind of rides were quite an hit, and we have done two such rides in the Himalayan region, and in the Southern Heritage ride also we have done for South India. I'm sure there'll be wonderful places in Nepal where you guys can plan such kind of short trips, wherein maybe Nepal, Bhutan, India, that kind of ride I mean also can be done. Or if you think you can arrange for a ride for international riders, wherein you can invite certain Rotarians from across the world to ride in a specific terrain which has scenic beauties around. I think that is some place where you can generate some funds and then you can contribute either to the foundation or maybe use that money for doing some wonderful projects within the country.
Yeah. Uh, I think that would be a wonderful initiation for our district as well. Just a last question from my side. I think I'm adding too many questions, but
Sure.
yeah, I just wanted to ask that. So if we plan on riding from Nepal and to any other country, are there any situations that we might face in the borders to cross it, or do we need any permissions, or what sort of permissions do we need so that we can travel to
See,
other countries?
actually, many of the countries don't have very strict rules other than the international driving license, which might be needed. So some of the countries, I mean, they respect, I mean, each of the countries' driving license. So as far as I mean, the legality of driving or riding, that is not a problem. But yes, some of the countries have, I mean, some issues with respect to entering their borders. So if you are carrying, I mean, proper documentation of the ride, what exactly it is about, and who are you, and the entire identification details or IDs you are carrying along with you, I don't think there will be a problem. And this is the place where the local chapter, if it is there, they can help you in a very big way.
Okay.
So they can help you with all the formalities which needs to be followed to enter their region. And sometimes, see, Rotarians are generally from the elite group, right? And they do a lot of projects with the government as well. So most of the times the Rotarians have good connects with the government authorities, and they are able to help us with the entry and exit in their territories. So there are some issues in some specific territories, but most of the countries, I mean, if you are carrying all the necessary documentation, there's no issue at all.
So yeah, that itself was my query. So since we have a driving license, and I think in Nepal we don't have international license trials or anything like that. So having a license from Nepal, would we be able to ride in India or any other country? So that was what I wanted to ask.
Yes.
Uh, okay, so before concluding, if any of our participants have anything to add or anything to share, the floor is open. So you can unmute yourself and ask any questions you have. Oh, okay. So yeah, please go ahead.
My name is Papasa. I'm from the club of Bhutan, district treatment.
I'm sorry, your voice is very feeble.
Hello, can you hear me now? You just
Yes,
spoke.
yes.
Yes, yes.
Hello and namaste. My name is Rotaractor Bapasa from Rotary Club of Birtamod, district 3292. I have a question like we have to register a form, like told a form that we have to register through the Rotary. We have to register it and we have to move it, or I didn't get you that properly. We have to form a club, a next club, or just we have to join under it.
Okay, I suppose you are talking about the fellowship group, right? I mean, starting a new chapter in Nepal.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I mean, the formalities are not very difficult. So you don't have to, I mean, start a new club or do any registration or a big time procedure. The idea basically is when you are starting a fellowship group, we only want to ensure that the fellowship group actually sustains. So that's the only reason why we generally look for 20 plus members to start with. So if you have, I mean, even 15 members, probably, I mean, I can provide or I can get a special approval, and then you guys can start a country chapter. And it's basically just, I mean, a small formality of a couple of emails and some documentation. So if that is done, there's no issue. I mean, we can start a chapter in Nepal with that.
At least we need 15 members. Yeah, we already have, because almost a week or 15 days we travel almost 20 kilometer every week, or it may be twice a week, kind of like that. So it was really interesting. So I just asked a question that we have to form a new format, and does it falls under Rotary or it's an
Yes,
independent?
yes. It is not independent. It is one of the Rotary programs. Of course, Rotary doesn't manage it directly. So it is one of the Rotary programs though. So there's no separate registration as such needed. Probably, I mean, I'll share, I mean, the information separately with Kritika, so you can reach out to her, and then we can take this initiative further.
So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that we have Road Riders group in our district, and currently we have almost 200 members added to the group. So, since our polio day is coming up and ARA has a big contribution in ending polio, we are planning, the admins of the group are planning for a ride to be organized in a regional level. So, since we have a geography that divides us, so we wanted to do it in the west, in the east, and certain cities in Nepal. So yeah,
Wonderful.
I think we would be happy to have your help in organizing this so that we can
Certainly.
have knowledge about what we should take care of and how these become official rights so that we can start a new chapter in Nepal also.
Certainly. Just
Yeah.
to, I mean, let you know, there are two clubs, one in Philippines and the second one in the US. So in Philippines, I mean, there was a set of Harley Davidson riders. So Harley Owner Group, HOG is what they call. So the Philippines chapter of HOG had many riders who had a lot of, inclination towards the philanthropic activity. So the entire group of 25, 30 or 50 members, they started, I mean, their own separate Rotary clubs. And the best part is the Rotary Club name itself was the Rotary Club of QC Big Bike Riders. So it was a Rotary Club started by the biking group itself. And when they got to know about this IFMR fraternity, they were so happy that the entire Rotary Club, they themselves, I mean, started or sponsored the local Philippines chapter. So we have couple of clubs across world which has been started by the biking Rotarians, and they meet only for biking, and then they do multiple projects.
Oh, and that's a very nice thing. I think starting a Rotary Club through a fellowship group, that's a very big initiation. So yeah, I think that we don't have much questions for now, so we can move on to concluding this session. I think we're already it's already 12 here, so we can move towards conclusion, I guess.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. It was nice interacting with you all.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. And I think we'll definitely have some more chats regarding this new fellowship group we want to add to our chapter, and also organizing rides from I I think from Nepal to India or some other country that we have possibility of riding to. So thank you so
Certainly.
much, sir, for your time. Yeah, so sorry I
Thank you.
interrupted.
Thank you. Good
Yeah.
wishes.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for your time, and we hope that we'll have you in our future sessions also. So sorry that we had limited participants here, but we would love to have your physical presence once we have don't have the risk of COVID or
Certainly.
yeah. So maybe we can organize a ride from India to Nepal, and we can have your presence in our district event or any club events too. So thank you so much, sir.
Certainly. Certainly. Thank you so
We
much.
would
Thank you
be
so much for the opportunity.
yeah
God bless.
yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Bye bye.
Thank you so
So we'll be okay. So we'll be concluding this session here. I think we have next session of our local fellowship groups at 12:30 p.m. So all the participants are requested to please join the sessions at 12:32. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
much. I have a question for you.